All right, I see we are live. Good morning, everybody. How is everybody doing? I apologize that I'm here late today. As you people know, life happens sometimes. My child was not feeling well this morning. Of course, I didn't sleep well either. And of course, work has to continue. So forgive me for not being here at the scheduled time. So we figured out we'll just do it a couple hours later instead of not doing it at all. Okay. So thank you for those who have reached out wondering where are we today. I really appreciate it. So it's another beautiful day again. My name is Betty Small. My page is Learn and Grow with Betty Small on Facebook. Um, it's a fairly new page because this is new for me. So you're welcome over there so that we can talk about different topics that interest you, topics that could make you a better person, have a better future tomorrow. As Amma calls them, progressive topics. So today, as you guys can see down below or up above, I can't tell where you guys can see it from. We are going to talk about nursing career in the US. I don't claim to know it all. I don't have the highest qualification in the nursing career either, but I believe I'm a few steps ahead of somebody who may be interested, somebody who may be having questions about which way to go. Um, for people who are either within the US or people who are outside the country and are looking to immigrate and all that, maybe I could help you get a step ahead or something like that. Okay. Um, so a little bit about me. I've told you guys, hey Kwame, good to see you. Good morning. I see one of your favorite topics. Yes. You are a new nurse, so welcome. Put you under my and take you with me on this work. Okay. So, as I've told you guys before, I have been a nurse myself over a decade, going to a decade and a half now. Um, of course, for those who can do the math, I've been in this country over 2 decades now. I came here, I did my basic education here, and I started doing my nursing here right away. And so I know it's maybe 15, 20 years back, but there's some things that are still the same that haven't changed. Just the basic elements about nursing, they are probably still the same. Not that hasn't changed much. So, if you are interested in this topic, if you have any questions about the topic, please put it on the chat box. Anything that you feel like I can help you understand, or if you have a question that maybe you think I can help you with, just go ahead and put it on the chat box. So, some of the things we're going to be looking at today is, like we said, nursing career in the US. So, I told you guys, for me, I went in nursing school in the early 2000s. So, it's been quite some time. I did my associate in nursing and then I went on and did my bachelor's. I haven't done my master's actually because life happens, but it's something that it's in the mix that I'm working on right now. Um, so we'll talk also about, what do you do to get an admission in the US? First of all, how do you locate a school in the first place before you can get that admission? Um, and as you're looking for the school or you're looking for that particular university or college, you have to be thinking about the location, what part of the country that's going to be, um, the school fees, tuition, they call it over here. You also have to think about that. Have to think about the accommodation, where you're going to stay. Do you have somebody that can house you for that time that you're going to be in school? Your support system as a whole, who's going to house you, how are you going to get the transportation to go back and forth to school, your upkeep, how you're gonna eat, how are you gonna survive around. So all those things have to come into a mix, okay? If you're lucky to have somebody that is already here and they can house you and show you around, even better. But if you don't and you're considering immigrating here as a fresh student who doesn't have your nursing degree or license in place, then you have to think about all those things. Okay. So, like I said, for me, I came here straight up. I started from scratch. I had to do the basic classes. At that time, I used to live in Texas. So they have a system. So, like in Texas, you had to do pretty much everything. You had to do your math, your reading, your writing, your public speaking. You have to do government, history, all those. Some of them seem unnecessary, honestly. But now that I've lived in this country for some time, I see the importance of knowing the history of your state as well as the history of the country. Okay. The importance of knowing how the government of your state is run as well as the government of America. So those are some of the classes that we were doing, and I was like, do I have to do this? Yeah, but it's very, very important to know how these laws come in place, how they affect you, how they affect your career. So I didn't care for it, but now I see the importance of it. We had to do classes like I didn't have to do physics, but I had to do chemistry for sure. I can't remember all those classes. Oh my God, forgive me. But yeah, you have to do all those basic math, reading, chemistry, psychology, sociology, all those classes. You have to check them out of the box. Okay. So for me, I went to a community college. Some people are able to go straight to a 4-year college. Even though when I initially came here, I came on an international student visa, which was under a university. But the lady that invited us, the it wasn't the president, but she was in charge of the international student relationship. She was very kind. For those of you who know Texas Southern University, Dr. Perkins, that is the lady that helped us back then. And so she gave us an option when you came. She's like, do you want to stay in Texas Southern University or do you want to transfer to a community college where the expenses are cheaper? So most of the time, people would just transfer to the community college, which was really helpful because let's be honest, nobody has that kind of money unless like you had very rich parents who are able to pay for you from the pocket. Most of us didn't have that opportunity. So I thank God for that particular woman. God bless her soul. She died some years back, but she was the savior back then. I remember she actually came to our country, Kenya, back then. And she actually went all the way to the embassy after she had handed us all our applications for the I-20s. She actually went all the way to the embassy and she spoke on our behalf and said, hey, I'm here to help and uplift these people. So could you please give them the visas? And so that's one of the things actually I'm always thankful in my life. I'm not one of those like who had a hard time going to the embassy over and over, for in an attempt to get a visa. So for me, it was just a straight shot. Went in there, did the interview, and bam, I was out. Even though I was already in college back home, I just cut that short and took the opportunity and ran with it, you know. So yes, I came over here and I started doing the basic classes. Yes, math, chemistry, psychology, humanity, pharmacology. How could I forget that? Anatomy and physiology, all that stuff. You have to get it out of the way. Yes, it took me quite some time to get it out of the way because, as I say, yes, you can go to a community college, but that you still have to pay your tuition. You still have to pay for your expenses. So managing all that and trying to maneuver, you can only take so many classes within a semester. Of course, for international students, you have a minimum of classes that you have to take. I think it was like 12 credit hours back then. I'm not sure if it's still the same now, but you have a minimum that you have to take as an international student. And so you have to think about, okay, how am I going to survive? How am I going to pay this tuition? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, all that. So let me not go too deep into that. I may end up giving a whole lot of my history here, which is not really necessary. What I'm here to do is to help those who may think of immigrating, or those who maybe who are already in here, or whatever. If you're trying to figure out your path and you think that nursing is a good career that you can get into, those are the kind of people that I'm here to help. So there is different paths in the nursing. Okay, there are people who start from the basic, which is the CNA, certified nurse assistant. So these are, you pretty much get the basic certification so that you can help around nurses. Okay, so you are helping with the basic activities that have to do with the patient, depending if you're in a hospital, or with a resident if you're working like in assisted living or acute care. You know, yeah. So the reference is different depending on what area you're working in. But pretty much the CNAs, they have the basic knowledge on how you help feed a patient, help transfer a patient, how do you clean a patient, you assist them with their everyday care. Okay. Then some people are able to go straight into what we call the LPN, licensed practical nurse, or some states call it licensed vocational nurse, LVN. So depending on whatever state you are, they may call it as an LPN or LVN. This is usually done within a year. This is education that you complete within a year. You still have to do some prerequisites, but I'm not sure that they ask you to do a whole lot. I believe the prerequisites for an LPN are a little different from the prerequisites of um, an ADN or an associate nurse. If I'm wrong, somebody please correct me on that. So some people decide to go from a certified nurse aide to an LPN, which is the 1 year one. The certified nurse aide is usually maybe 4 to 6 weeks. You get that training. You have to do an exam and you have to get certification on that in order for you to practice. Okay. Then some people are able to move from their certified nurse aide into the licensed practical nurse or licensed vocational nurse, and you can complete that usually within a year. Okay, it is very, very intense. You have to go for your clinicals, you have to go for your um, class meetings. They have to go for I forgot what's the name for it, skills. Like you guys have to meet in a room with other students, and the teachers will be observing you and making sure that your skills are up to par. Okay, so that usually takes 1 year. Okay, some people then will jump from the LPN and take their registered nurse, which is the ADN, which is the 2 year one. Okay, so it's also called ADN, associate degree nurse. Yeah, for associate nurses. So this one takes 2 years. So if you already did your LPN or RN, LPN/LVN, for you to become an associate nurse, you have to do another 1 year. So you would have to find a school that does that. Not all schools, just because they offer the LPN does not necessarily mean they have the bridge program where you do from LPN to an associate nurse. So You have to find a school that can cater for that, okay? And then some people are able to go straight from nothing into the associate degree nurse, okay? So they do that for 2 years, and then you do your nursing exam, and then you're able to practice, okay? Now, there are also people who choose to go to a university and do the 4 year degree course, okay? Now, amazingly, both the associate nurse, the one that went to nursing school for 2 years, and the BSN, they both do the same work. They both sit for the same exam. But I don't know. Some people feel like, they can, if you're able to, like I say, the finances play a big role here. If you're able to go straight into the university and you can pay that tuition, well and great. If you're able to do the ADN in the community college, that's what you're able to pay for, well and great. But at the end of the day, both the BSN and the ADN, they sit for the same exam. Okay. And once you come out of that, you do both of you the same job. Um, Maybe a little bit of pay difference if you have BSN, but I really don't think so. What really matters is your years of experience, that counts into your pay difference, your pay scale. Okay. So we talked about licensed nurse aid, CNA, certified nurse aid. We've talked about the LPN/LVN. We've talked about the associate nurse. We've talked about the BSN. Okay, that is the 4 year college. And then we have an option for people that already have their their associate nurse who want to go into their BSN, which is what I did. It took me about 12 to 14 months. And then there's also people, if you want to go straight from the associate nurse to your MSN, which is the master's level, you can also do that. So you have an option of becoming either a BSN or an MSN. What's going to change is just the period of time that it's going to take you to complete the program. Okay. The other option is you have people who already have degrees in another field, but they're interested in doing nursing. And so these ones are able to come in and apply for an MSN program, which is the master's program. And it's like a fast track. Okay, so with that, I think maybe within 2 years, they are able to complete all the courses that they need to, and they do their clinicals and their skills and all that. So there's different options out there, and you can keep going up depending on how far you want to go. Okay, so there is options. So the question is, how do you How okay, so first of all, you have to choose what do you want? What level do you want to start as? What is your financial status? Are you able to pay out of pocket? Do you have some kind of scholarship? All those factors, you have to check them out before you decide which way you're gonna go. Okay. All right. The next thing we're gonna talk about is for those who want to immigrate and come in as student nurses. I already talked about that a little bit, actually. The fact that you first of all have to locate the school that you want to go to. You have to figure out what state that is in, what are the requirements. You have to apply to the school. And then if they accept you, they will send you what we call an I-20. And with this I-20, that's what you use to process your paperwork back home, depending on whatever country you're coming from. And then you have to go through the whole process of going to the embassy and um, getting your visa, you know. But they also have other requirements about English, especially if you're not coming from an English speaking country. There's some tests that you may have to do. So all those will be spelled out from the university that you're going to or whatever college that you're going to. They'll give you all the requirements before you think about even going to the embassy and spending all that money. So you have to get all those little things checked off before you spend your big money going to the embassy for a visa interview. Okay. Um, so assuming you're able to go through the whole process and make it here, um, there is the culture shock that comes with it. I'll tell you that. And most of the time, as soon as you arrive at the airport and you get out of the airplane, you just start noticing different things about the culture, whether you're coming to America or whatever country that you're going. But I'm mainly talking to America because that's where I've spent most of my life. There is a culture shock. People do things differently. Um, Mannerisms, way of dressing, way of acting, it's all going to be different. Okay, so there is going to be you needing that time to adjust to how things are done. Okay, and if somebody's going to be kind enough to pick you up, because sometimes I've seen people who come and it's just very sad that sometimes somebody will keep you engaged, and they tell you, okay, we'll pick you up at the airport, blah 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 blah. And then when the individual gets to the airport and they try to reach out to the person that is supposed to pick them up, they go missing. They don't answer their phone, they turn their phone off, and stuff like that. So some people end up being stranded and they have to get help to locate where they're going to at least sleep the night before they can start figuring other things out. And while on that, actually, uh, what I would want to point out is sometimes some people can actually, sometimes people that get visas and able to migrate to the US. I remember talking to one person who did not go pick up somebody that they were supposed to go pick up from the airport. And I was like, why would you do something like that? And so she brought something to light, which was the fact that the person in question never mentioned to them prior to that they were even looking for an admission to a school that was nearby where she lived. Okay, they never mentioned anything. They went through the whole process. They found the school, they got the application done, they got the I-20, went to the embassy, processed everything. And all they did was reach out when they've already bought the ticket to say, hey, so and so, I am coming to America on this day to go to school. I need you to pick me up from the airport. Okay. So this is the thing. It's not just as simple as picking somebody from the airport. Okay. There's a whole lot of things that comes with that because you have to think about where do you stay? Do you have the space to accommodate this person? Okay. If you already have room enough just for your family, where are you going to put this person that is coming? When they're coming, you are completely responsible for them in terms of their whereabouts. How are they going to go back and forth to that school? Okay. You are going to take care of how do they eat? How do the basic things, food, clothing, shelter, that is going to be on you. Okay. If they do get sick or anything like that, that's going to be on you. So I would just urge our people, I don't think people just choose to be mean for no reason, but I would just urge our people, if you are planning on traveling abroad and you're aiming at a fellow, a cousin, an aunt, an uncle, a sister, or brother, or something like that, if they're not the ones that originally came up with the idea of getting you that application or that I-20 to go to that school, it would be very kind of you to at least have that conversation beforehand and be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. And I'm hoping to get an application or an I-20 to this particular school. would you be able to accommodate me starting this period of time? And when you come and stay in that person's house, you have a certain period of time that you can stay there. You can't just come and stay there like, okay, I'm going to stay there for the whole 2 or 4 years that I'm going to be going to school. That is not, no, that doesn't work. I'll tell you that for sure. So you have to think about like, okay, if I'm going to go and get accommodation from this person, you it has to be for a period of time, 6 months is a very reasonable period of time. Some people are kind enough to extend it to a year. But you have to have these conversations beforehand with people and not just wait until I know we like to be secretive sometimes, like, oh, I don't want to let anybody know until everything is processed. So I can shock them, that I was able to process this thing and here I am coming to America. Well, you get the shock of your life because guess what? If you're gonna call that person last minute and say, "Here I am coming," possibly they may not be able to pick you up. Why? Because for one, they probably don't have accommodation for you. They may be working on that day, and not just accommodation. They have to think about your care and your needs for the next 6, 8 months to a year. Okay, that is not just a burden you just drop on somebody like that. So try to have a conversation with somebody beforehand and get all that straightened out. Unless you're coming with your own money and you just want to come and stay for, maybe 2 weeks or so, and then you have to get your own accommodation, that's understandable. But if you're planning to come and stay at somebody's house while you go to school, please be kind enough and hold that conversation with somebody beforehand. And then, the person is going to tell you yes or no, and you can agree on the terms and conditions of that. But if you don't do that, you may be stuck at the airport because you'll be calling that person to pick you up, and guess what? They're not going to show up. Okay. I just thought I may throw that out there because we've had a few incidences and people really get upset, like, oh, she didn't come to pick me up, or he was supposed to pick me up. Understandable. But you got to have these conversations with people beforehand so you can make appropriate arrangements before you even get in that airplane. Okay. Let me see what Salome says here. I had a degree from Cape Coast University, so I did my prerequisites and went to a university and got a second degree in nursing. I had lots of credits that I was able to transfer to my BSM. Bingo! Yes, Salome, that is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of information that we are trying to put for people out here who are trying to figure out their path forward. So yes, if you already have like a degree from your country of origin, some of those prerequisites that you read, some of those classes that you did actually can be put as credits towards your BSN. Okay. So you wouldn't have to do all those classes. But I also think they have what they call evaluation centers. So, like, you can bring your degree and then they'll look at your credits. They have evaluation centers that will look at your credits and equate that to what they do here in the US, and they will tell you, does it equate or not? And if it does, it gives you a certain number of credits. So that will cut back on some of the classes that you have to take. Okay, yeah, so you can actually get some credits if you already have a degree from your country of origin. So you don't have to necessarily take all the classes. Thank you so much, Salome, for bringing that up. That is very, very important. Yeah, because we don't want people to be discouraged from the get-go when they start thinking about all those prerequisites that you have to do, and you're like, oh, if I have to do all that, then I'm not doing it. No, if you already have a degree, you can actually get some credits. And I think that is great. Okay. So let me see what else I had over here for you guys. Miss B says, thank you for doing this on YouTube as well. We can download and watch later. You are correct. Yes, this is Amma Manson's network. It is just a platform that she has given me so I can share some of these nuggets, and I'm more than glad to do that. If you're able to download it and watch it later, Well and good. And like I said when I started here in the beginning, for those who have questions, for those who have comments, or anything that you feel like you need to bring to the surface regarding this, bring it up. If it's something that I can answer, I can help you figure out sooner, you know, so that you can get to your destination faster, even better. Put it over here. If you have some good information that you can also share out here, because of course I'm human, I don't know everything. I only know the few steps ahead that I am. So I can only give you that much, but I'm sure there's other people that who are steps ahead of what more steps ahead of me that could have more information. So feel free to share that here too. Okay. I know Kwame. Kwame, are you still there? I know you did your BSN or you did your ADN? You already got your license? Have you started working? And how is that going for you? Yeah. There is a ton of areas to work. When you become a nurse, the opportunities to work in nursing are endless. It's your choice, where you want to work. We have people who work in acute care, like the hospitals. We have people who work like long-term care, like nursing homes. We have like people who do assisted living. We have dialysis. We have home health nurses as well as aides. We have the community nurses, which is like the home health. Like there's and then if you want, you can also, these days they have lots of jobs that you can do from home for the insurance companies. They have lots of options. You just have to figure out which way do you want to go. Okay. If you want to work bedside, or if you just want to work from home, just looking at the computer, integrating different kind of data. If you just want to do research, it's all up to you. There's plenty of options out there. And like they say, there's always room for everybody. It doesn't mean that um, those of us who are already in it are taking up everything. No, they're actually looking for nurses. And that brings me to the other point of nurses in other countries who would like to immigrate to America. And I'll probably go a little in depth next time, just focusing on nurses who want to immigrate here. But there is an option for that. We have different agencies that assist people to transition from being nurses in their countries of origin to the US. Okay, but there's different steps that you have to follow to do that. Now, I know that we do have our own governing bodies in the countries that we come from, and they also do licensure, just like they do. The Board of Nursing here has the RN license exam, as well as nurse practitioners and stuff like that. We do have our own bodies, but the US requires anybody that is coming in here as a nurse also has to go through their own board of nursing and do their licensure exam. Okay. And in most cases, actually, they want you to do this and pass the boards before you get here. They're not gonna bring you here for you to come and do the board of nursing here. No, no. They want you to do your boards and pass before you come here. So, like I know people in my country and other surrounding countries, they end up going all the way to South Africa because we don't have that many uh, areas where in Africa where you can do your board of nursing exam, for the US. So I know people who are having to go all the way to South Africa to do that. Okay. They have nurses coming from Philippines, India. They're coming here all the time. We have nurses from India, from Philippines, who are having to go all the way to India to go do their board of exam over there. I know. It is my prayer, not me, that I hope that somebody can actually people can start working on opening more Board of Nursing exam areas in our countries so that people don't have to travel far and wide just to go take, a Board of Nursing exam. Okay. I know quite a few people from my own country who've gone all the way to India just to go take the Board of Nursing exam. I mean, it gets quite costly. I know. I know. Everybody wants to change their life and make something out of their future. But can you imagine having to spend money, prepare, make all the preparations? You have to study. Then you have to buy a ticket to go all the way either to South Africa or all the way to India just to go do this board of exams. And God forbid that you fail. Okay, so you want to study to the best of your ability because if you're going to be traveling to another country to go do the board of nursing and you fail, yeah, that will be devastating. So you want to pour all your resources into preparing as adequately as possible so that if you have to travel, you're coming back with great results. Okay, then that's like one of the number one steps that you have to do before you even they even consider you coming here. Okay, so there is options, but I want to dive into that a little more next time. Just put it as a topic by itself, for the nurses that want to immigrate over and they're already practicing as nurses in their own country. How do you go about that? Okay. All right. I've been doing a lot of talking, a lot of talking. Anybody want to engage me over here? Any questions? Any comments? Anything that you feel like maybe we can address the next time that I come over here? You can throw it in the comments. My younger brothers and sisters who are coming up, if you have any questions and you're trying to figure out your way forward, is it worth being a nurse? What is it like being a nurse in America? All those kind of questions. If you're looking for a mentor in nursing, I'm here. I can help you. Okay. Any questions? Anybody want to throw out something out there? I think I've exhausted what mainly I wanted to talk about today. The different pathways to becoming a nurse. Um, we talked about for those who want to immigrate here and start from the scratch as nurses. How do you start looking for a school? How do you get an admission? Once they get your admission and they accept you, you get your I-20 and you start processing for your visa. You have to think about um, when you get your visa and you have to come here, like I told you guys, make sure if you don't have an immediate family member who doesn't mind housing you, if you're looking for somebody who is not a family member or some person who doesn't mind hosting you, you have to talk to them in advance and let them know, give them a little timeline. Of course, try as much as possible, have some pocket money, you know, things happen sometimes and people get thrown out. Yeah, it's very unfortunate, but we are human beings, and sometimes human beings just don't get along. And I've seen sad cases where people get thrown out and they don't know where to go. If you don't have any family or relatives, or you even haven't made any friends in the college that you're going to, so I advise you just have a little pocket money. And when you get here, please don't start going to Macy's and buying the shoes and dresses. Okay, don't the little money that you come with, don't waste it on unnecessary stuff. No buying shoes and dresses and trying to look good with Michael Kors and stuff like that. Keep that money for a rainy day because a rainy day will surely come. Okay. And if it doesn't come, whenever things get better, then you can use it to make yourself comfortable. But don't come here with no pocket money. have a little pocket money in your pocket because you never know. You never know. Okay. For those who are able to learn and do driving in your countries of origin, please try to go and do your driving tests. That would really, really help you. Try to have your driver's license. So maybe people actually are able to come here and use their international licenses for a while, international driving license for a while, before they can get their license for whatever state they're in. So if that's something that you're able to afford and do, because driving is inevitable here in America. If you're gonna say that you're gonna depend on a train or a bus, yeah, that doesn't work very well. Okay, you can carpool with people for a while, but people tend to have their own schedules and things to do. If, especially if somebody has to combine picking up kids, working a double shift, blah blah blah, going shopping and all that, grocery shopping. People really don't have time to be taking you from place to place. Okay, so the sooner that you can be on your feet, the better for your host. So if there's some things that you can knock out of the way, like getting your driver's license, that would be really helpful. I don't care which side of the road you drive, left or right. It's just the idea that you know how to drive so that your host can easily now put you on the wheel and can help you drive around a little bit and you get used to it. Okay, but don't come here. You don't even know that, and then your host has to start from showing you how to drive. Yeah, that's a lot. And then of course some people start gossiping. Oh, my host is not helping me. My host is not even showing me how to drive. They don't have time. So if you can help yourself by learning how to drive before you get here, okay? Um, Try to learn a few things about how the system works. Ask the person that is going to be your host, what are some of the things that you would like for me to know in advance? What would help my transition to move faster when I come over there? So have these conversations. That's what I keep saying. Have these conversations with your host, whoever is going to pick you up from that airport. Start having conversations way before you start getting on that aeroplane, so that you are all on the same page, so that they you don't get here and they feel like they have this burden on their shoulders, that they have to take care of. Not to say that anybody coming from home is a burden, but you have to understand that people are used to running their own schedules, depending on what they do, whether it's that work and kids and all that. It's already hectic. So just be kind and mindful enough to let this person know, hey, I would really appreciate if you can host me because this is what I'm considering. I'm working on it. If all goes well, do you mind to host me for a while I come over there? Okay, if you're gonna host me, what are some of the things that you would want me to do? What would you like me to learn? Is there something that I can do while I'm still here at home before I get over there? And then of course when you come, be helpful. You just don't go, like, if you're going to school, you go school, stay in the school the whole day, you come back and you become like a guest when you come in the evening. No, people are running back and forth, picking up kids. Maybe kids have activity here, maybe they have to go for swimming, another one is going for um, name it, people go, kids going for different activities, so your parent is running from work, pick up from school, there's still dinner to be cooked, there's laundry to be done, so when you come back from whether it's school you went or whatever, you need to find out, okay, what can I help you with? Do you need me to help you do laundry? Do you need me to clean the house? Do you need me to help you start cooking? What can I start doing? People, hosts like people like that, when you initiate and try to help around. But if you want to become a visitor the whole time that you're there, yeah, most of the time you're going to be kicked out sooner than you want. But if you want to make your host happy and give them a reason to keep you there a little longer and even help you to further lengths, then please be proactive, okay, and try to help because we are all human. They're helping you, so please try to help. Okay. Monica, what are you saying? Well done. We'll be very happy if you highlight on the nurses who want to migrate outside. Yes. So this is the topic I wanted to do by itself. Okay. I was thinking initially to combine it with this, but then I was like, no. So the next time we talk about the nursing career in the US, we are going to address just that portion alone for nurses who want to immigrate from other countries to America. So we can walk through the different steps. What are the requirements, step by step? Yeah, so we'll treat that topic by itself. And thank you for bringing that up. Okay. Please, Monica, keep following us here on the Emma Manson Network. And you can also follow me on my page, Learn and Grow with Betty Small. We do have a schedule of the topics that we talk about. We've already scheduled the topics for the month of September. I'm working on the topics for the month of October. So the next time we are talking about the nursing career, yes, that's gonna be what I'm gonna be addressing about. Just that. Okay. Because we definitely have lots of qualified nurses and there is a shortage in nursing. There is a shortage in nursing. Oh my God. They need help, but you need to help yourself by following those steps first so that you can give yourself a better chance. Okay. Give yourself a better chance of being among the top few who are chosen. Alrighty. Yeah, we can talk about that some more. All right. Who else is here? I know I came a little late today, but you guys, life happens. My child was not feeling well. I barely had any sleep last night. But when you make a commitment, you make a commitment. Even if you're a little late, you just try to show up. Okay. You show up because there are other people that need you. Okay. And so here I am. Here I am. Any questions? Any comments? I've noted that, Miss Monica. I think Kwame left. Kwame, are you there? I guess Kwame is not there. What something that just popped in my mind. Okay. So for those who come in as students also, you want to consider having locating people who are doing the same thing that you're doing or at least walking in the same path so that you can walk together. Okay. So when you come in a new school or in a new university, you may not be studying the same subjects. You may not be doing the same major or anything like that, but at least try to know who is also new in the school, who is having the same struggles that you're having. You know, these are people that you can walk along with in the path because your struggles are going to be almost the same. So get to know other people. Once you overcome that culture shock, okay, don't be shy. Don't be shy. You have to learn to speak up. You have to learn to ask questions, okay, because sometimes I notice those of us who come from Africa, sometimes we come across as timid, you know, because our culture tries to teach us to be very respectful. And so sometimes I notice in here, some people may interpret that as being timid. Okay. You don't want to be interpreted as timid because then people will start walking all over you. And neither am I saying be aggressive. You know, just know how to draw the line like, okay, I'm not timid. It's not like I don't know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing, and you need to speak for yourself when you need to speak up. Okay. Make connections, get to know what other people are doing. You know, if they invite you, they have things going on, go open your eyes, shine your eye, oh, so you know what's going on. Don't just make a path of like, okay, go to school. Of course, like I said, help your hosts. But if there's something going on, ask your host, I want to go see what's going on over here. They're having a certain function. Can I go? So it will help you open your eyes. Okay. You just don't want to be like Mumu, just going and coming, going and coming, going and coming. Okay. Alrighty. I guess we will call it a day. Miss Monica, you're welcome. You're welcome, Miss Monica. Um, I don't see any other comments. I don't see any other questions. And if that's the case, I guess we will call it a day for today. And we will be talking more about this subject. Okay. I will be seeing you guys on Tuesday. Again, on Tuesday, I have a commitment at 10 a.m. my time. So I will be here an hour later. So that will be 11 a.m. And I really, really apologize about that. It's one of those things that I have no control over. Um, so yeah, bear with me. I will be here on Tuesday and it's gonna be an hour later. So instead of 10, it's gonna be 11. And I believe we are gonna be talking about youth relationships. Okay. I'm not so much like a marriage expert, um, but we could talk about the youth and the relationships and how they can get them better. What are some of those pitfalls that, you know, the young people can avoid, okay, to have a better future. All right, guys, I'm just having a monologue here. Nobody is engaging me. I think we have exhausted the topic for today. Okay, so it is nice seeing you guys. Thank you for those who are able to engage me. And yeah, I guess we'll call it a day and I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Alrighty. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.